power steering was making a racket the other day like it was out of fluid. And I thought, oh yeah, I better look at that. Probably got a leak to fix. Well, it's not a leak, it's something else, and I want to show it to you because it surprised me what it's doing, and maybe some of y'all understand this and can share some insight. So that's my power steering unit right there. It should be full of red transmission fluid. When I take the lid off here, it erupts in that milky looking stuff. Now usually milky looking oil makes me think it's got water in it. So now I'm wondering if it got somehow water in it, and because it's so cold, the water in it is frozen. I don't see any sign of a leak other than what's, it had so much in there it spilled out. That's the other thing that happens when water freezes. It will expand, and like I said, this doesn't hook to the radiator. Like if you've got transmission fluid, it has a transmission cooler that often is connected to the radiator, and if you've got oil in that, it's a sign that your radiator is bad, problematic, needs to be fixed. This here is something else entirely, and I'm not exactly sure what to make of it. Anyway, I thought I would share with you, really before I do anything else here, see if y'all have some input, feedback, any ideas about what the heck is going on, whether you agree with me. It probably has gotten some water in there. Now I can see where, the fix to that would be to drain the fluid that's in there out, put fresh new fluid in there. However, if there is water in there and it's frozen, or even a lot of times when water is in a situation where it won't freeze, it'll turn to about the consistency of an icy. In other words, it's kind of like slush, which is what we're looking at here, kind of a slush. So it may be that the water mixed with the fluid couldn't quite freeze because of the content of the chemicals in the fluid, but it was enough to turn to slush. I mean, maybe I could let more of it just, seems like it wants to push itself out when it gets air. That's another thing. A lot of times if you got water, it won't freeze unless there's air available, and the air touches it and it freezes. I've had like a jar of tea before that would be frozen, but it would still be liquid. As soon as you take the cap off, the stuff in the jar would turn to slush. It would freeze instantly with the contact in the air. With that said, I think I'm not going to mess with this anymore until I get some feedback from y'all, and it may be that might be one of those things I just don't mess with until spring. Once it warms up, I could probably loosen one of the lines and let it pump itself dry, and then refill it with some good transmission fluid. But I'm going to share that with y'all out on the YouTube land, see if you've ever seen anything like that exactly and are familiar with what happened and why. Have any feedback or thoughts on it. I always welcome help from my tuber friends, and I got some pretty smart tuber friends out there. Sure do. Just saying. Okay, so.